morning, everyone. We are starting another week of virtual preschool, and I am so glad you have decided to join me for circle time today. All right, let's figure out what day of the week it is. So what day was our last day of school? Friday, yes. Saturday, Sunday. So today is Monday. Yes, so let's move that rainbow arrow up to Monday. And who remembers the name of our month? February. Yes. So let's go ahead, and count those numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and what comes next? 13. Yes, so now let's figure out the pattern. Heart, mailbox, mailbox. What's next? Heart. So we have a number 13 with a heart on it. All right, so that was Saturday. We need to keep going. 11, 12, 13. What's next? 14. And let's figure out the pattern. Heart, mailbox, mailbox. Heart, mailbox. Yes, so we have a number 14 with a mailbox on it. All right. One more, because that was Sunday. 12, 13, 14. What's next? 15. And let's figure out the pattern. Heart, mailbox, mailbox. Heart, mailbox, mailbox. Yes, so we have a number 15 with a mailbox on it. And you probably already know this, but yesterday, the 14th, February 14th, was Valentine's Day. All right, so let's say the whole date. Today is Monday, February 15th, 2021. All right, so let's look out the window at your house and figure out what the weather is today. So when you look out your window, is it partly cloudy, cloudy, sunny, windy, rainy, stormy, or snowy? Then we also need to figure out what it feels like outside. What is the temperature? So when you step out the door, does it feel burning hot, hot, warm, cool, cold, or freezing cold? Remember to have your mom or dad or grandma or grandpa look up the number for the temperature on their weather app. All right, so last week we had everything all about Valentine's Day, right? And this week we're doing something completely different. And I'm not going to say until we look at the book. So the book is so big, it's one of these books that will not fit in my mystery envelope, so I had to kind of hide it behind the mystery envelope. So let's find out what we are talking about this week. Oh, so what is on the front of this book? What is that a picture of? A dinosaur, yeah. And what is on top of that dinosaur? This is odd. There are kids climbing on top of that dinosaur. Now, were there kids when there were dinosaurs? No, there were not. No, there were no people when there were dinosaurs. But this book is kind of fun. It's called If Dinosaurs Lived in My Town. Okay, so it's kind of a fun book about what things might be like if we lived with dinosaurs. Now, of course, this is kind of a pretend book, right? So it's probably a little different than it would actually be if we lived with dinosaurs. So let's find out what is in this book. Now, this book also has a lot of information about dinosaurs, but we're not going to be reading all those little things. But if you want to get this book from the library, you could read all these little sections on the side, too. All right, so here we go. If a Corythosaurus lived in my town, she could be a crossing guard. Now I gotta make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly. If a Rhamphorhynchus lived in my town, we would catch the most fish. Looks like a Rhamphorhynchus must be a good fish catcher. If Bambiraptor lived in my town, he could live in his own house in the backyard. Look at that. And there's a little house. It looks like a dog house. It says Bambi on it for Bambiraptor. If a Stegosaurus lived in my town, we could climb on her plates just like a jungle gym. And that was the picture on the front, remember? If a Tyrannosaurus Rex lived in my town, he would take a lot of cleaning up after. And there's a garbage truck there, cleaning up after the Tyrannosaurus Rex. If a Parasaurophilus lived in my town, he could join our marching band. If a Leoplorodon lived in my town, she could swim with the whales in the aquarium for exercise. Oh, so this is an ocean animal, an ocean dinosaur then. If a Maiasaura lived in my town, then having a babysitter would be so much fun. And I'll say I did read a little bit about some of these, and this one, the reason it says could be a babysitter is because these dinosaurs were very peaceful dinosaurs and took care of their young very well. If a Gigantosaurus lived in my town, he would need a really big toothbrush. If a Tarbosaurus lived in my town, he and his cousin Tyrannosaurus Rex could have a hamburger eating contest. If a Styracosaurus lived in my town, she would have a huge birthday cake just to hold all of the candles. And she's already wearing a party hat. If a Velociraptor lived in my town, we could play catch, but he'd have to be careful that his claws didn't pop the ball. If a Pterodon lived in my town, we could go hand gliding. If an Ornithomimus lived in my town, he'd win every race. If a Supersaurus lived in my town, she could help build houses. If a Talosaurus lived in my town, he could hit a home run every time. If a Therizinosaurus lived in my town, she would have the biggest eggs in the barnyard. If a Deinonychus lived in my town, he could be a spaghetti chef. And I was just thinking, feel free to pause the video to read these facts. You could probably do that too. If a Brachiosaurus lived in my town, she would bring back supersized vacation pictures. Oh boy, this is going to be a hard one. If a Pachycephalosaurus, got it, lived in my town, he could come biking with us and he wouldn't need a helmet. Look at that. He's got like a built-in helmet up there. If a Torosaurus lived in my town, we could use him as a chair and have the best view of the fireworks. If a Patiniosaurus lived in my town, we wouldn't have bird feeders. We'd have tiny dino feeders. If a Coelophysis lived in my town, he could go into space. Oh wait, one of them already has. So I had to read this one because I wasn't quite sure what they meant. So apparently a Coelophysis skull, all right, that like a fossil that was dug up, was actually sent into space. So that's what that means. If a Euoplocephalus lived in my town, he would break a piñata with one swipe of his tail. If a Cryolophosaurus lived in my town, she could be a circus star. If a Leelinosaura lived in my town, we could read together in the dark. If dinosaurs lived in my town, we would need a bigger town. That's for sure. Yep. All right. So, I thought that was a really cool book. So, let me show you what we have today. In your packet, you have some new cutting strips. All right. There are some straight line strips where you're going to cut up to the dinosaur. And then there are some zigzag strips that you're going to cut on up to the dinosaur. So when you get to the dinosaur, you would stop cutting. All right. And I also wanted to include a book that had some dinosaur facts. So in your packet, you have a book like this. It says Dinosaurs. Here it says this book belongs to, so you could write your name in there. And then each page has a dinosaur. It has the name of the dinosaur. And if you want to trace the name of the dinosaur, you can. You can color the dinosaur. And then it also has some facts about each dinosaur. So if you don't have a dinosaur book at home to read, this book will give you some information about dinosaurs. All right? Then we also have some sorting to do. All right? We have a couple sorting things this time, but this one is sorting dinosaurs and not dinosaurs. So what you're going to do is take off the paper clip and this little paper. All right, there's a spot for your name. So write your name, Miss Mika. And then you're going to cut all these little animals and dinosaurs apart. All right, so you're going to use your scissors and cut on those dotted lines. Remembering to keep your thumb up. Okay, now after you've cut them all out, you're going to look at your paper. Now, Mom and Dad can help you with this, or Grandma and Grandpa. This side says dinosaur. This side says not a dinosaur. So you're going to sort these according to dinosaurs and not dinosaurs. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to pick up, let's see here. Here's a picture. Now this looks like a picture of a cat. Is a cat a dinosaur or not a dinosaur? Not a dinosaur, correct. So you're going to put some glue on the back of that cat, and you're going to stick it on the side that says not a dinosaur. All right, how about this one? This looks like maybe a stegosaurus. So is that a dinosaur or not a dinosaur? Yes, that is a dinosaur. So you're going to put glue on the back of that one. And whoopsie, we're going to lose the glue here. You're going to glue that on the side that says dinosaur. All right, so I'm not going to do all of them for you, just those two. So dinosaur, not a dinosaur. So you'll just keep sorting those until you have them all sorted into the right spot. All right, then we also have another roll and graph activity with dinosaurs. I did not put the die together this time, but you know what to do with this, right? Have Mom or Dad cut it out and put it together. Then you're going to roll it, and for each dinosaur that you roll, you're going to color in one of the boxes, and whichever one gets colored to the top first is the winning dinosaur. All right? So that is what I have for you today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I will see some of you today at 10:30 for small group, so don't forget. And I will see you again on Wednesday for circle time. All right? Bye, everyone.